Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Today on Back Office Nerd, I'm going to review a salon profit and loss report and the importance of it. You should be reviewing a profit and loss report on a monthly basis. You should also know what your salon's bottom line is. It's very important because knowing how to read a profit and loss report and knowing what your bottom line is will help you make big decisions like whether or not you can afford to hire a new salon manager, whether you can bring in a new product line or do that salon facelift that you've been wanting to do, and also to plan the education for your entire team. So stay tuned. I'm going to take you step by step through how to read your profit and loss report. And if you're not in the salon industry, don't worry, you're still going to learn how to read a basic P&L report. The P&L report, it tells you how much money you both made and spent during a specific period. So you'll see on this report that I have used salon-specific categories for the income and expense accounts. And so this will allow my salon owners to determine if the percentage of income per category is in line with industry standards. So to understand how to read a profit and loss, you want to think of it as a ladder. And you'll see at the top, you have the total amount of income, which is broken down by service sales, retail sales, and rental income. And you'll see here in the green, that is your total income. Now, the next step down is cost of goods sold. And then each line here is a deduction from your total income. And you'll see for cost of goods sold, we have subcategories of retail purchases, back bar and professional purchases, commissions paid, and merchant account fees. And then we have your total cost of goods sold here in the pink. And so what's left over would be your gross profit. So all of your cost of goods subtracted from your total income gives you your gross profit. And the next step down from there is your expenses, okay? And so expenses can be broken up into many different categories so that you can track things appropriately for your budget. But you'll see here we have payroll expenses, and then we have a category of sales and marketing. And underneath that, we have included in sales and marketing is advertising and promotion, education, meetings, recruiting, travel, and website/social media. From there, we step down again and we have operating expenses. And underneath operating expenses, we have bank charges, point of sale, so whatever you're using for your booking system, whether it's Vagaro, Salon Iris, Forest, any of those would be considered a point of sale system. You've got dues and subscriptions, which can include your magazine subscription. It can include your Spotify monthly fees, things like that nature. And then below here, we have insurance. We have insurance broken down by subcategories as well. We have liability insurance and workers' comp insurance. And you'll see a total for that here. Below that, we have rent and utilities, which we've got subcategories for as well. So we have rent, we have telephone internet, and we have utilities, and that's totaled out over here. And then we have repairs and maintenance, because something is always going to come up, whether you need a new washer and dryer, whether a window is broken or a sink is broken, things like that. That'll all go under repairs and maintenance. And then supplies. So I have 3 different categories under supplies. I have office supplies, cleaning supplies, and then miscellaneous supplies. And this helps me to budget according to the industry and what's needed to run a salon. Now we also have management fees, which includes accounting fees, legal fees, businesses and license permits. And then underneath that, we have interest expense and taxes. So interest expense, you may not have this, but if you have a loan or any credit cards, you're going to have interest expense on your profit and loss. Now, the total for all of your expenses is here in pink. And so your total of these expenses is subtracted from your gross profit, and that leaves you with a net profit, which is also called the bottom line. So the bottom of the ladder is what is left over after all of your expenses and your cost of goods. So that is your profit and loss report in a nutshell. Okay, still with me? So next steps, now that you have the basics, you want to compare the current month to your previous month, and you should do this every month. And you want to look at your cost of goods sold, and you're going to see that it fluctuates from month to month, and it, depending on what your sales are. So let's say you sold $5,000 and purchased $2,500 in retail inventory in the current month. Your retail inventory purchased was 50% of the retail sales. So in the previous month, you should see that your inventory purchases were a similar percentage of your retail sales. So even if you sold, only $3,000, you should have purchased $1,500 in inventory. So the percentage of your purchases would still be 50% of the retail sales. So those are things that you want to look at to make sure that you're maybe pricing things correctly in your point of sale system. Also, maybe, the wholesale cost was entered wrong. Did you place a retail order towards the end of the month? If so, you're not going to see the return on that purchase until the following month. Or did you actually overorder? I mean, maybe you overordered, and if you did that, you can always reach out to your vendor, who typically would be happy to swap out items for your top sellers. After all, they want you to move your products too. So, or, you think about running a promo for the month to push your slow moving products. But this is where, using a really great software like Forest Salon software, Salon Iris has a pretty good inventory tracking system. You want to definitely use a salon-specific booking software, but you also want to use one that has a good inventory tracking system as well. So you also, when you're comparing your service commission cost of goods, you want to keep in mind that the more you do in service sales, the higher your cost of goods is going to be for service commission. So the percentage of service commission to service sales, that should also be similar when comparing month to month. So even if the dollar amount is significantly different, continue comparing each cost of goods account to the previous month. Super, super important and helpful to keep yourself and your salon on track. So also, what else? Let's see. When you're looking at your profit and loss report, you want to look at your expenses, which typically most of your expenses are fixed, which means they should be relatively the same amount each month. So you want to start with your payroll expenses, because that should be similar. The only fluctuation that you're going to see there would be with like your commission. So if your service sales are higher, your commission is going to be paid out higher on a payroll. But, if something seems odd, first thing you want to do is look at, I can't tell you how many times I would, be reviewing a profit and loss for the month. And all of a sudden when you look and the payroll costs are like through the roof compared to the month before. And for some reason, it took me forever to figure out that the first thing you want to look at is how many pay periods fell in that month, because typically what it was is that one month, we always did bi-weekly payrolls. And so one month would have 3 payrolls instead of 2. And that, significantly raises your payroll costs for the month. So you want to factor that in first whenever you see something that's out of whack. Also, did you have a month, that had where someone was maybe paid overtime and they weren't the month prior? Did someone forget to clock out and the hours were inflated because you didn't catch it when you processed your payroll? Or, was there a commission error made? See if maybe commission was entered for a receptionist when it was actually meant for a stylist. Things like that, little things that you might not think of. But you know, it's possible that the commission may have been entered twice, and if it was in the wrong column, it may have gone unnoticed. So continue to go through your P&L report line by line until you reach the bottom. It's probably going to seem a little overwhelming at first, but once you start reviewing these on a monthly basis, you're going to truly understand your salon's financials, and you're going to start to see opportunities for growth, where you can cut costs, where you can increase your bottom line. And like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, you'll be able to know whether you can afford to hire a salon manager, whether you can do that salon facelift, whether you can, take some of your team to California or New York for some education. All of those things, they're super important, and they really are not decisions that should be made without knowing what your bottom line is and what your costs are per category. The only way to do that is to understand how to read your profit and loss report and to do it on a monthly basis. So thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything that I missed, if you have any questions about, and also subscribe so you could get notifications whenever I make any updates or new videos. And thanks again for watching.